Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Afternoons with Ashley. I am excited to be here today with another small business highlight for our area. Right now, one of the biggest things that we can do as a community is supporting other local businesses. And so when we started the joint effort in the newspaper and also on the show, it's really an opportunity for us to just highlight these businesses that maybe you don't even know are in our area. And so when you're looking for these services or products, you can choose someone local. And that's what this segment of the show is all about. And I am excited about that because I've been a small business owner. I know that it's very important to let people know in your community that you exist and spread the word about all of the great jobs that you have done throughout the community. And word of mouth is the best thing that you can possibly do for your business. So I love this segment of the show. And I love to be able to highlight other people's hard work and business here in Muscatine and Muscatine County. So today I have Dale with me. Hello, Dale.
Hello, Ashley.
So you guys can all see in the paper this week, actually, a little highlight about your business, and you'll see his ad there and how to contact you. But tell us the name of your business and kind of a little bit about the services that you offer.
Yes, well, thanks, Ashley.
Yeah.
My name of my company is DWM Painting. I offer painting, interior and exterior, drywall repair, decks, and some custom staining. I also do floor installations, typically limited to hardwood flooring and engineered flooring, and the vinyl planks. The reason why I get so specific about that is I don't know if you've ever had to install one of those rollout floors, but they're a pain to install. So that's not one of the things that I do. But those other items, the interior, exterior painting, drywall repair, and floor installations, those are some of the items that I do.
Yeah. Those are huge jobs. And a lot of times people, when they're, moving or they're maybe redoing a section of their home or something like that, it's always like scary to get an estimate because you're like, oh, it's going to be so much money. But really, you provide like really affordable costs for the amount of work that you provide. So how do people find out if they're wanting to find out how much cost it is? Do you do free estimates or okay?
Yep. So I do free estimates. All they have to do is give me a call. I typically prefer phone calls because sometimes with the emailing, you get some weirdos that are trying. I've had this happen a couple times, not to get too far afield, but typically a phone call. We'll set up an appointment, and then typically in the evenings or whenever they're available, and I'll come and have a look at their project. Depending on how big or small it is, I may be able to give them an estimate right away.
Sure.
If it's a larger project, I might have to do some math, but even then I might be able to just get it to them right away. But beyond that, all they have to do is give me a call and we'll come out and look at it, and they'll get an estimate right away. Usually very reasonable. Obviously, it depends on the size of the project and scope and all of that. But more knowledge is power. The thing that I find, Ashley, when folks go think about having to have something renovated, it's the cost or the fear of the cost rather.
Right.
And then once they get that information, they can figure out from there what they need to do.
Yeah, and sometimes it is like, okay, well, this is the full cost of the project, but I can do this part now. And I mean, you have to know the cost before you can make those decisions. So providing free estimates is a great service so that people can know, what they're getting themselves into and all of that. So you do all different sizes of projects too.
We just finished up an exterior. It looked like a one-story from the street, but then when you go out the back, it was a walk-off. It took me about 2 weeks to do, and it was just a simple matter of filling up all the holes, painting 2 coats, and Bob's your uncle. Looks like you have a new house, updated from that old 70s siding. Currently working on a log cabin project. Those will be up, and those will actually be up eventually on melchinpainting.com. I've also finished a small restoration project where it was basically reinstalling drywall, putting in a floor, and doing 2 different rooms of the house. So those are just a few of the different things that I'll do. I don't typically take on the restoration projects though, but if it's like a small section of drywall repair, that sort of thing, that's something I'll be able to do. But I'll have a few of those items up on melchinpainting.com for folks to be able to look at.
Yeah, so go check out some of because you have several photos of different jobs that you've done so people can see your work. And
Yep.
that's important when you're choosing someone that's going to be coming into your home and literally sometimes redoing it. You want to make sure that you can trust them, that they've done work before, and you've been in business for quite a while.
Yep.
So how long have you been in business?
15 years.
Wow.
On the painting side. And I've added some of those other items in fairly recently within the last couple of years, but drywall repair is always a part of painting a house, especially when I have a story where this is a long time ago, but basically this customer, his two kids were wrestling, 5-year-old tossed the 2-year-old into the drywall. Don't know if that's camera friendly, but
yep.
But it
happens, right?
Yep. Yep. And so the kids were fine. No children were permanently damaged in the process of that, but we ended up having to just, basically cut out around the studs and then put a new square piece in, mud it, patch it, and sand it, repaint it, and looked good as new afterwards.
Yeah. Things like that happen though around the house. I mean, especially with rowdy boys and stuff like that. But also, I mean, you knock something over and it runs into a wall and you have to fix things like that. So perfect opportunity for you to call Dale and have him come over. I feel like, so I'm one of those people that I'm always wanting to like redo paint. And for years and years, I would just do it myself. And it always end up like I'd spill, I'd create messes, all those little things. I am fairly impatient when it comes to jobs. I think it should just be like done in a second. And so I wouldn't tape those are all things that need to be done. And so when you're thinking like, oh, I'm going to just slap some paint on this wall, no big deal, I'll just do it myself. It ends up taking a lot longer than what you expect. And so that's when like services that you offer come in handy because we're all busy. We're all, we're working, full time, we're running kiddos around, and it really is worth the money to hire a professional. You get a professional job for your money, and people don't realize the time and effort that you guys put into doing the job right the first time.
Yep. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I always try to tell folks is you can spend your Saturday afternoon cutting out and rolling your bathroom or your house or whatever. We take all of that hassle away. We'll come in during the week while you're at work and come in, roll it out. We'll put all the drop cloths and everything else out, tape things off as needed, cut and roll it, and we get it done faster than most DIYers, so you're not having to fool with it throughout the week and after work and all of that. So we take a lot of that burden away.
The other thing is like just the tools that you have. You guys have the correct tools to use. You're not like running out to Menards to try to figure out what paintbrush might be the best one, or picking up something cheap and then realizing, well, that's what you get, what you pay for kind of deal. So you guys have all the right tools that you need to do the job right.
Yep. I mean, brushes what I typically will use is a Purdy stiff. It's actually an extra stiff brush for drywall. Right? And what I mean by drywall is cutting against drywall and ceiling. It helps keep the cut line straight. And for me, it's just a matter of taking that brush and pushing the paint out, coming back and brushing it. I know I'm kind of doing a motion here right now.
No, that's fine.
And then, rolling out what you need to roll out and just keep going from there. I mean, it's a lot faster if I do it than having someone else do it, And
you do it every day.
Yes.
So you have a lot of practice.
Yes.
And you've been doing it every day for 15 years.
Yes, exactly.
So just like any job that someone would do on a daily basis, practice makes, perfect. So you're definitely going to get the job done faster, more accurate. So I'm curious, are you a taper? Do you have to tape, or are you good enough that you just kind of like eyeball it and you're like, woo?
It depends. If it's going against drywall, typically I can cut a straight line. And I do it as a precaution anyway. If you're dealing with any type of trim or baseboard, I'll tape it off and then make sure it's straight afterwards and go from there. I mean, I just don't want to take any risks on that.
Right. You don't want to ruin somebody else's trim or something like that. Totally get that. So you have a website.
Yep.
And what is that website?
melchinpainting.com.
melchinpainting.com.
Check out. Yep. I don't know if it's going to be on the screen or not, but MELCHIN painting.com. It's going to have the barn that I did on there before and after. It's going to have a deck. before and after, and then a interior. I believe it's either before and after or just the finished work.
Sure.
They had some kind of a Kermit green on there before in their living room, and so I changed it up to a
Gosh.
more of a lime green, which I'm like, I don't see the difference, but that's fine. You do you, customer.
Yep,
So,
yep. Everybody has their own taste, right? Is that something that's kind of hard for you sometimes? Like when somebody has like a totally different taste than you have, or are you just used to kind of just doing what the customer wants?
I just do what the customer wants.
Sure.
So I mean that I let the customer be the color designer. I'll come by with the color deck and be like, all right,
Yep.
what are you thinking?
Mhm.
We'll go to the blues. All right, what kind of blue? And
Yep.
then I'll just let them basically point and choose.
Yep. So, but if someone's unsure,
Mm.
like if this color and this color go together, is that something that you can kind of help with? I mean, you've seen.
Yeah, I
You're
usually
not, I mean, I know you're not like a designer,
Right.
but you.
I have a hard rule against doing that. Now I'll usually stay with them long enough to help them make the decision.
Sure.
And I'll just keep pointing out different options so that way they have something to go with. But
Yep.
I usually try to just leave the color choices to the customer.
Sure. Yep. Because then that way you're not at the end of the project and you're like, crap, I don't even like I don't
Right.
like that.
Well, I am connected to other resources. I know that Sherwin-Williams, they have, I don't know if they do it with this one here in Muscatine, but I know that they have a color designer person
Sure.
that I can consult with if necessary.
Mhm.
I've rarely had to use it because most of my customers are skilled at picking their own colors.
Yep, they know
so I
what
let
they
them do
want.
it.
And, yep. Perfect. So all jobs take different time frames, but that's something you can kind of give them when you come to do the estimate.
Yep.
You could say, oh, this is probably going to take me 1 day or 2 days or
Yep.
a week or however long.
Yep.
Perfect. So planning is so much easier when you have all of those things right in front of you. So if you were talking to a new customer
Mhm.
who's never hired a professional before,
Mhm.
what would be like your top 3 reasons for someone to hire a professional painter as opposed to trying to get the job done themselves?
Mhm. Well, for one, quality. I always have an eye for quality. I make sure to check and recheck after each section gets done and that
Sure.
sort of thing. Communication. I know that sometimes, elephant in the room, sometimes contractors have a bad rap for not
Yep.
communicating. I almost over communicate. I haven't had anybody complain,
Right.
but typically I'll let them know this is where we're at on things, or if I have to go, I rarely have it happen, but if I have to go take care of something else, they'll know. We'll get a time frame on it. And I always try to give everyone a timetable of completion, what's up for the next day, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And I don't, price. That's another thing. I'm usually more reasonable than a lot of the larger contractors. I'm not the cheapest guy in town,
Sure.
but that's also you get what you pay for.
Yep. Yep. I am a firm believer in that. You definitely get what you pay for most things. And service is definitely one of those.
Mm.
And that's another reason why I always recommend people if you can shop local, shop small,
Mhm.
the service that you get is worth the extra dollar that you might pay because you're gonna have that connection, that relationship with somebody, probably the owner of the business right there in front of you, helping you. And so they care about the business. They're gonna care to make sure that you're happy. And so it's definitely worth a little extra money to have that communication and that service and to know that you're going to double check everything to make sure that you don't have any smudges or things like that you might find weeks down the road and be a little bit disappointed with. So it's definitely worth it to give Dale a call and give him the opportunity to come out and bid the project at least and tell you kind of the timeline and how much time you can save. Because again, we're all so busy. And so do we want to spend our whole weekend, doing a project at home, or would we rather, be spending that time with family or something like that and let somebody professional take care of it. So how have things been going with, it's like another elephant in the room, the COVID stuff. People are still, you've been busy, I've heard, as far as getting jobs. So people are kind of loosening up and inviting you back into the home and, things like that. And if somebody has concerns about that, I mean,
I do have a backdoor procedure for that.
Sure.
I do have a procedure for that. If they really don't want me to come into their house, but they really need an estimate.
Sure.
If they've got their own tape measure, they can send me the measurements. As long as they're accurate,
Sure.
I'll be able to give you an accurate price. That's one thing.
Yep.
If they're fine with me coming over, but they want me to stay back and wear a mask,
Sure.
I keep a mask with me. I'll stay back, that sort of thing. If they don't want to handle paper, and I've more or less switched to digital with the way I do my estimates, I can just go ahead and take all the measurements, email it, text it to them. They can get into the client hub and have a look at it and go from there. So
perfect. So really just preference as far as the customer goes and their comfort level, which is great. I think all businesses should be that way. We just all have to be kind of flexible right now. So today's small business highlight is definitely a good one. And we all have projects around the house that we want to get done and maybe we've been putting off, but you guys can call Dale and get the project done in a short amount of time. And so how far out are you scheduling right now? Like if somebody needed to get a project done right away, are you able to do that?
I'm booked out a little bit, at least another couple of weeks, if not more. But depending on the size of the project, might be able to sneak a small one in. But as far as larger ones go, I'm at least a couple of weeks out right now.
Which is great. That means that you're providing quality work and people are booking you up. And so that's not a bad thing when you have to wait a week or two for a professional to come in and do a job. You want that for sure. So thank you so much for coming today.
Well,
anything else that you want to throw out there for people to know? I mean, you provide a ton of services, but most of the stuff they can find on the website, which we'll throw when we post the video. We always throw in those websites and stuff in the comments so people can easily click and it'll also be on the screen for you guys to see. But also it's in the Discover Muscatine newspaper. Weekly you can find, the name of his business at least, if not a full ad with number and website and all of that fun stuff for you guys to find.
It's melchinpainting.com for the website, 319-594-5113 if you want to give me a call. Come out and have an estimate. Typically, folks have me over in the evenings to do those, and I'm available for those. And
awesome.
Feel free to give me a call.
Thank you so much for coming in. I
Thank
love
you.
highlighting small businesses. Like I said, I've owned small businesses, and I know that the important thing is just getting the word out that you're there and that you're providing a service and spreading that word. So thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I look forward to, we have a whole bunch of jobs already lined up for him. I'm just like thinking about all these projects at my house and here at the office. So it's exciting. I am glad that you joined us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, that was our small business segment of Afternoons with Ashley. I appreciate you all joining us, and I hope you guys give Dale a call and let him come out and give you an estimate and let him prove that he will provide some really great quality work for you guys. So I hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon. And remember, kindness is free. So spread that stuff wherever you go.